I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room.
Joe Darke was convicted for his crimes.
Would it be Darke or Drake? Oh no, it'll be... No, it's Darke because Drake would have been before the A. The R before the A.
Yeah, Darke, anyway. One thing I can say for sure is he deserves his sentence. He deserved his sentence.
I remember the Joe Darke case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's why I'm trying to figure out. Why is he so concerned about that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. I had a feeling we'll wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I better take another look at the files. Yeah, I think the reason he can't forget about it was because he's someone related to him was killed in that case.
Yeah, so does that mean we just present the...
Yeah, present the case file. Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much of the cactus juice there, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned here. In a list of murder victims, Neil Marshall are related to this man.
Neil Marshall?
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard that name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What, a prosecutor? You must have been talking about the King of Prosecutors award.
No, I remember Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did.
That's right. He was killed. The case fell into your hands. What's his relation to you? He was my brother.
Oh, so it is his hair.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant and then Deputy Chief of Police. Oh, so that's who the hat guy down here was.
Oh.
The group of detectives I was part of working under them were desperate to prosecute the killer. Oh.
Joe Darke.
That's me.
Oh, that's you?
Yeah, that's me, but Jesus Christ, that guy's got an aura.
Maybe he's a relationship to Von Karma?
Nah. Although the white hair might make you think so. Vegeta, what is his power level?
Over 9,000!
What? 9,000? For some reason, I wanted to do Nappa's abridged voice, but I couldn't do it. Joe Darke. My brother thought Joe Darke was killed. He lost the shadow game. That was my first time Darke left behind any evidence. That's all we needed. He was
arraigned.
He was arraigned and incarcerated. This case was finally closed.
Arraigned is a real fancy way of saying arrested.
Okay. At least according to the public record. What do you mean? I'm actually starting to think he's not talking with his accent now. But I'll still talk with the accent anyway. My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Darke. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight.
Not in a fair fight.
Yeah.
It's John Cena out of nowhere with a steel chair.
Oh, what is it? Oh, what is it? You know, have you watched the Punisher movie?
Which Punisher movie? Because I believe there's two.
the John Travolta one.
Wait.
And technically there's 3.
John, is that the one where John Travolta's the bad guy?
Yes.
Yes, I have seen that ages ago.
Okay. You know the scene where the hitman has a gun pointed at Frank and Frank pulls out the knife?
Yeah.
And he says, "Really, you brought a knife to a gunfight?" And it's actually a ballistic knife?
Oh, oh.
Yeah, exactly. And if Neil didn't have anything on him, he's gonna lose in a knife fight.
Yeah.
Anyway, no one could have beaten him in a fight.
And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions?
My brother was a 4-time black belt. He also master of, he has also several master degrees in self-defense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Probably. It's like saying someone kicked Jackie Chan's ass. Even with a knife. And guns. It's also sad that he doesn't do his own stunts anymore.
Oh, he's old now. He's
I
not
know
as
that.
young as he used to be. Jeez.
Like, I know the movie he did. I think the movie he did, his last stunts he did for a movie was actually something that went to direct to video here, and I think that was called Wild Lions or Tigers or something like that. Editor, put up the actual video name. There was more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing for certain. Now we know what happened to the police department on the day of the crime.
That was the last day of the SO9 case would be reopened.
That's you.
Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence.
Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled.
Yes, his mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. The things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department.
Chance? It's gotta be more than just that. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecution's office parking lot was the real one.
Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye.
But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial.
Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today.
But
There's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department.
seems to me this both got the draw on you, partner.
All the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony of Miss Angel Starr is completely incontestable. If you have a response, make it a single word or less.
Fuck!
And I was like, I don't need words. Just gives her words to figure. I rest my case.
Yeah, I did actually rewatch the Huge Quest thing too.
I am a nameless peon,
Yes, we
weak
get it.
and frail.
I did say I have loose morals. It seems that This trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disapproving the alleged murder at the police department.
There's no doubt what I've proven today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict does rise. Court finds the defendant. Oh God, who now? Oh.
Your Honor, wait.
Emma.
The defense has an objection, a scientific objection. Right.
What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright? Are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor? In a sense?
Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking is for a minute of your time. Please hear me out.
Thank God Von Calmer isn't here, otherwise he would have stunned you with his stun gun and tossed you out himself. And then charged you with contempt of court.
Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends.
He pulls out his stun gun.
Turns it up to 700,000 volts. This time I'll get him.
Get her.
You want to leave a minute? I'll give you 3. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SR9 incident referred to the Joe Darke killings.
Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky Sisters were in that file.
But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprints had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found in Detective Gumshoe's locker?
But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I examined it scientifically. I'd be sure to find a clue.
She just opens up the fingerprint powder and just tosses everything on there and just started blowing on it just to see what sticked.
So I ran over there and looked at it again.
So did you find something?
No.
Huh?
Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all.
Is that all?
Please don't be mad, I'm just a high school student.
And I'm just an attorney.
Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. We can't find something wrong with them. Please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you.
Me? Oh boy. Time's up. It was more than 3 minutes, so... But then again, I think the stopwatch is running slow. Anyway, now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain?
It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark.
That's your...
Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I am sorry I can't be of more use. But still... If you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be...
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If I ever need to concentrate, it's now. What would be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? Yeah, there's something wrong because... Because this fucker's in the way.
There isn't a part in the video where you can see the other side?
No, but he's standing directly in front of it.
Oh, so it couldn't have been put there at the...
Possibly, yeah.
Well, that's the only thing we got. Let's go with it.
Ow, my hand!
The handprint...
That's me. Ow, my hand! It's made a mark in the desk again. And there's blood this time. That's it! This handprint left at the crime scene. Clearly shows contradiction.
The only thing that seems clear is you're grasping, Mr. Wright.
I believe the phrase is grasping at straws. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them? Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at this floor plans. Something is missing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Missing, you mean something hasn't been drawn on there?
Yes, something that, when drawn, will completely change the meaning of the blood mark. Let us pray that events isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright. With all this evidence here, there's gotta be something I can use. The question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans? It is the Blue Badger. What about that piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force. You just seen Marshall. I didn't vote for him. The defender of truth, guardian of proof.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime. Well, what?
Yes.
That's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker. What? So that means, what exactly does this mean? It means it can't be done. What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker. Don't look at me, I didn't put it there.
Mr. Wright, think through it scientifically.
Emma.
On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would have been impossible to leave a handprint on that locker.
So that means that this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in. Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom. It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department evidence room, blood was spilled not once but twice.
But how? Oh, he's got that you motherfucker look again.
One time was captured on the tape taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell. Also, yeah, the blood mark. Oh well, yeah, and his head's blocking it. The problem is, the other time, someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. If it had to have been. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered.
That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim because then it makes me look guilty.
Well, no, there's also someone else there too.
Yeah.
The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found on the locker.
So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I don't mean you show evidence that proves when it occurred.
When did the first incident occur? To summarize the defense's claims that, prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room. That's right, the blood mark on the locker proves this.
Man, if you came in the middle of this, you'd be so confused with what's going on.
Yeah. I just went to the toilet. What the fuck's happening now?
Please make sure to watch the videos in order for your viewing pleasure and to not confuse you.
Anyway, very well. Then tell us, when did the first incident occur as Mr. Edgeworth said? Proof must be presented.
So I assume that's the door thing? That
Yeah,
shows
the one listing all the
777.
IDs. Yes. Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Now then, will the defense please present this evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? Yeah, just to double check. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense because if the blue badger... Oh, wait.
What person's door code is just 77777?
We've gone over this. Anyway. Wait, that doesn't make a bit of sense. If the first person came in and did it, and there was a blood mark...
There was 20 minutes between it. Miles might not have noticed it. His locker was close to the... His locker was like right next to Marshall's, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Oh.
But also... here's the thing. Meekins didn't put Badger up there until 10 minutes after Edgeworth left.
Yeah, so the badger was covering the handprint, obviously.
Meekins came up at that time to put the badger in the room.
Yes.
So if the blood... So the blood mark wasn't covered at that time.
I guess Miles didn't notice it. That, or he's the one that did it.
Nah.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. It could also be possible that his locker's close to the door. We'll just go from there. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. In order to do so, the ID card would have been required. An ID card. Oh! The ID card record. Officer Meekins brought in the panel into the evidence room at, let's see here, yeah. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40. Miles Letchworth! Just what have you done? I never would have figured you have the nerve, boy. Drop the act with you.
Drop the act, witness. Doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me.
Nope, I ain't getting it. I'm afraid I don't understand either.
It's clear from the luminol test that the blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood.
That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer.
I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible.
That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Let's look at the chart again.
Are we supposed to already know who that is?
There's only one other card number remaining.
3, 6, 7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So it's Scepter 7.
It's up to 7, yep. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make any sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with Scepter 7.
Yeah.
Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is, yeah. That's 1 7 too many, Your Honor. Oh, that's you.
Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of the ID card. At least at present.
What? Explain yourself, son.
The ID number Scepter 7 belongs to someone with the rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity.
But that's ridiculous. Just how...
I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority.
If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? What?
Nothing.
Oh. With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how your prosecutor's office operates.
I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself.
Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
No, not you, to her. The defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana.
Don't be stupid, she's been charged with murder. Of course we looked up her ID number. And it's not Scepter 7.
Don't blame me for a fool, partner. That's not what I wanted to ask. All I wanted to know is one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident. Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence?
Did you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth.
Despite his accent.
2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least I did. Lana? I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law.
Defendant, just what are you saying? I asked you... I don't know why she moved out of the defendant's stand and I took over, but sure. I asked you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me in the eye, look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say you did? Chief Prosecutor, you didn't.
I don't have to, Officer Marshall. Why won't you answer him? Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
No.
Order. Well, shit got out of hand. Lana's remarks caused such a stir. Chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. To be continued.